and you probably heard that it's going to be recorded. That's just that if you want to hear something back, or for the people who couldn't join us, they can watch the video afterwards. We have a program for you today with some information sessions and a place where you can ask questions to a former student. But first of all, I would like to ask Professor Fred Weerman, the Dean of our faculty, to speak to you with a word of welcome. Fred, can I ask you to take it over?
Thank you. Welcome you all over the world. Welcome to Amsterdam. Welcome to the Faculty of Humanities. My name is Fred Weerman. I'm the Dean of this faculty, and I sincerely hope that you will have a wonderful time here, that you will find what you are looking for, and preferably much more than that you will be able to push your boundaries in a way that you were not able to predict when you decided to enroll in an Amsterdam program. I say Amsterdam and I talk about here, but actually in this extraordinary corona situation that we live in, here is not always literally Amsterdam. And this is something we all struggle with. As we say in Dutch, we balen als een sticker. For instance, this is my office here in Amsterdam, but most of the days I nowadays work back home in Utrecht. And in fact, even if I'm in Amsterdam, most of my meetings are still online. Hopefully this will soon end, but for the time being, we better try to make the best of it. Unfortunately, the Faculty of Humanities is renowned for its inventiveness and resilience. Perhaps we should say that the online corona situation underlines what we in fact already knew. When you follow a particular program, here is not a particular city, but rather here is here. Humanities is translated in Dutch as geesteswetenschappen, so this is no news for us. To summarize, welcome to here, and nevertheless, hope to see you soon in reality. And have a nice day.
Thank you, Fred, for the warm welcome. And you're right, we are quite here, and we probably continue to do so for a long time. Okay, I would like to share with you the program that we have. I hope you can see that. So this is the program of today, a welcome word, and then some quick information sessions. We talk a little bit about admission and registration, because of course that's one of the most important things at the moment, to get you correctly registered and have a complete and full admission to the UVA. Student advisor Karen Peters will be talking to you a bit about student life, academic life at the Faculty of Humanities. And last, we have a Q&A session with Laura Guitoy, who is one of our former students. We're very happy that she can join us. But first of all, although we are all over the world, probably, I thought it might be nice to get to know one another, try to get to know one another a little bit. So I have created a poll, and I'm going to see if I can share that with you and see if you can, fill it out. There are 5 questions about where you are, and afterwards, of course, I'm going to share results. That's the plan. So let's hope this works. And if all is correct, you can now see a question. Where are you actually? I mean, we read the Dean is in Amsterdam. Me personally, I'm somewhere in the Netherlands, close to Amsterdam, but you could be anywhere in the world and listening from an all complete different time zone, basically. So that's the first question. Do we know where you all are at? And of course, then what are you planning to study? And I listed the list of English taught programs. So I hope it's there, the program you will be studying. And in the Netherlands, we always talk about the weather. So I thought I'd introduce you a little bit to Dutch culture and of course have a question about the weather, what it's like. Another typical things in Amsterdam is biking. They're all over the place. Even now when the city is a bit less crowded than it used to be, still bikes all over. And the last question is about Amsterdam. Have you been? Do you know it? So I wonder. We're almost at the end of the polling. I think most of you voted. I can see. I'll give you another couple of seconds to read the questions and the answers and make up your mind. What is the weather like and what do I know actually about Amsterdam? I hear somebody can't see the poll. I don't know why that is actually. Okay, I understood that some people can't see the poll. Well, I'm going to share the answers with you, and then you can answer in the chat. Oh, it should be, Laura said it should be next to the chat button. Yeah, so give it another try, see if you can see it. Well, luckily it's not exam questions. Nobody's gonna deduct points for you. So I'll end the poll and share the results with you. See what we have. Okay, so what about this then? So it looks like there is a tie between Amsterdam and another European city. Amsterdam, most of you are, or not most, but the largest group is in Amsterdam. But actually quite all over the place, if you can see, you can probably read it, the poll as well. Now look at what we'll be studying. As expected, is media and culture is our largest study with most students. So that's clearly represented here. And then there are quite a few from European Studies BA, Media and Information Bachelor program. And there are actually 5 students who say their study program is not mentioned in the list. So it would be interesting if you can mention that in the chat and see if we forgot one program or you're studying something else completely. You will meet or online meet the students from the other study programs in your program introduction as well. Right, cognition, language, and communication. That's a program. Yeah, that's one of the programs that it's taught in Dutch, but also uses a lot of English. Welcome, Femke, who is going to study cognition, language, and communication. Right, now, most important topic, of course, is the weather. What is the weather outside? Oh, sunny and dry. Are those the people in Amsterdam? Because here it's raining. Luckily, nobody's plowing through the snow, but lots of winds and people who haven't been outside. Okay. And there are 4 people who are already living in the dark, in the evening or at night, in the early morning, I don't know, who have no idea what's the weather outside. Weather in Netherlands, always a good topic starter, online or offline. Now, with regards to bikes, getting your bike stolen in Amsterdam makes you a true Amsterdam citizen. So don't worry about that. That is quite all right. I am a bit worried about the 42 people who say that when they are on a bike, people get better, move out of the way. Although I would count myself among one of them as well. Riding a bike in Amsterdam is just a great thing, and it's cheap and it's the best way to move around the city. So yeah, it's good that you're looking forward to it and getting one, buying one, and buy a couple of very heavy locks as well. So let's move on to question 5 about Amsterdam. But most of you know the city quite well, or reasonably well, I would say. But there are a couple of you, 41, who haven't been to 22% who haven't been to the city. Well, I do hope that you will be able to see Amsterdam soon and move over here. But for now, I think it's great online works. And we can meet each other like this as well. Okay, then I would like to move forward to the program, because now we know each other a little bit. We know that we are all over the place, basically. And I would like to ask Juliette to give us a little bit of insight on admission and registration.
Yes, thank you, Femke. So I am Juliette Molenaars. I am admissions officer here at UVA, and I might have checked your previous education. So if you have already received a proof of enrollment in your mailbox, then you can just sit back and relax, and you don't really need to pay attention to this part. If you haven't received it yet, then please pay attention. So in these 8 or so minutes, I will go over 3 points I want to make. So the first point is about how to keep track of your enrollment and how to see if we have already checked everything. The second part will be about how to send us your certified documents. And then the final part will be for just a small group of you who will receive their diplomas after the 1st of September. If you have any questions, then please save them for later. Everything might become clear in this talk. So, first part is about your enrollment. When will it be final? You are fully enrolled here at UvA if you have met the entry requirements, if we have been able to verify your documents, and if you have paid the tuition fee. And you can check everything in the enrollment checklist on SIS, and that is sis.uva.nl. And SIS is our student information system. And there are different parts of your enrollment. So you can see if you have already paid the tuition fee, or if that still needs to be done, and if your documents have been verified. So yeah, there you can see if you still need to do something, or if we as the admissions officers still have to review your previous education. Then the second part is about sending in your certified documents. Most of you have probably already sent us your documents. But the processing of documents takes a bit longer now because we all work remotely. But you can expect if it arrives at our office that it takes about 2 or 3 working days before you have checked everything. And you can also see in your enrollment checklist when we have checked it. And if everything is final, then you will receive the proof of enrollment I was previously talking about. If you haven't sent us your documents yet, then please do it right after this meeting, because we really need to verify your documents as soon as we can. Your documents need to be certified. That means that they have a wet ink stamp on it from your school and a signature, or they are signed and stamped by a notary. The documents we need from you can be found in your conditional offer, and then you will see everything we need from you and if you need to translate your documents. There's also a video on our website on which you can see how you can have your documents certified. and you will get the link to that after this meeting. Then there are several ways to send us your documents. You can send them by mail, and you will find the address in your conditional offer as well. You can send them to us digitally, and then they need to be digitally encrypted and sent by your school to us. That you can also find on our website. And then if you're already in Amsterdam, I already saw on the poll that there are many students, like 37% is already here. Then you can make an appointment with us. Also a link for that will be sent to you after this meeting. You can bring them to us in person. You need to make an appointment for that. And if your documents aren't certified yet, then you can also have them certified at our education desk. Then this part is only for a small group of students who will not receive their diploma before the 1st of September. So for example, if you have done your IB or your A-levels or APs, well, it is important to note that we need to be sure that you have finished everything and met the conditions before the 1st of September. And you have until the end of September to send us your actual diploma. And you can send it to us through the other methods I previously mentioned. So you can even deliver them in person if you're here. Make sure that your school sends us proof of a statement of graduation. And that statement of graduation needs to contain that you have obtained your diploma, your graduation date, and your final grades. And if you have done your A-levels or APs or IBs or anything we can verify through an examination board, make sure that we have access to it, and you will also see a link of that how we can verify digital documents. If you're still waiting for your grades to be regraded, then please make sure that we have everything before the 1st of September as well. So we need to make sure that you meet the conditions before that date. So that was it for admissions, and I wish you a really wonderful time at UvA, and I really hope that soon you will be able to meet each other in person and see the campus, and yeah, that everything goes as it normally goes. So have fun. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Julia. For everybody listening in, the links that Juliet mentioned, we are going to publish them on the website that has the link to this introduction meeting. So you will find after this meeting, you will find a couple of links in there. Juliet, there are actually 2 questions popping up, as I can see. There is a question about the student card. I think those will be sent to international students around. Do you know that?
Sorry, wait, let me open the question. Oh, here they are. I'm not going to be, so the first question is, I am not going to be in Amsterdam for the first semester. So if I apply for the student card, then does UvA send the student card to international address? I think they do. We at the admissions office don't send the cards. That's I think the student education desk that arranges that. So I would need to ask them. And Femke, if I let you know what the answer is, can you communicate it?
Yeah, that would be great. I think so too. I think they do. But of course, it's vital that you check your address in SIS, in the student administration system, because especially with international addresses, it needs to be spot on. Otherwise, your neighbor might get your student card.
Yeah. And then the second question is about your conditional offer that you accepted 4 weeks ago. I advise you to send us a question directly, because I think this is an individual case, and then we can see what has happened. The third question is from an A-level student who is not sure about their grades. I think, we can verify your grades online because it's from an exam board, I think. So if you send in your details so we can check your results online, then that should be enough. That accounts for all A-level students. And then the last program is, I was already enrolled into another program in a different faculty last year at UvA, so do I need to send in my documents again? Usually we, if you already met the conditions last year, then we can, we save your documents online and we can check everything. But also that is a bit of an individual case, so I advise you to send in a question directly.
Okay, thank you. One more thing for everybody is that we will follow up this session where you get a lot of information. We will follow up this session by another set of live Q&A meetings. We call them Q&A on Thursday, and the first one will be next Thursday morning. And there you can have the opportunity to in detail chat with one of the people of the student administration and ask all the questions that you still might have. So if your question is not answered yet, you can either wait for the Q&A on Thursday or use the digital form, and it will be sent to Juliette or one of her colleagues. Yeah, great. Thanks, Juliette. And see you later. I would now like to give the floor to Caron Peters, a study advisor of the Faculty of Humanities, to explain to us a little bit this mysterious academic life everybody's talking about.
Thank you, Femke. I'm not allowed to share the screen. Could I please? Let's see. Yeah, I think I have it now. All right. Is everybody able to see my screen? Okay, excellent, great. So, hello everyone. My name is Caron Peters, and I'm a study advisor at the Faculty for Humanities. I work at the Media Studies as well as the Art and Cultural Sciences Department. And I guide and help students with special needs, for instance, students with health issues or special circumstances at home that impact their studies. I'm also there to help in case you are experiencing difficulties planning your studies or having trouble with certain study skills. This is a very general overview. I'll try to go a bit more into detail later. I have to point out upfront that I won't be able to take questions from you now during this presentation, but study advisors will be present at the upcoming Q&A sessions Femke already mentioned. So in case you have questions, please save them up for that time, or you could, of course, contact us directly. This is what I'm going to talk about in the next 10 minutes or so. I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm not expecting you to remember everything I tell you today, but I just want to tap a few important points and hopefully plant a few seeds along the way. So firstly, I'm going to talk a bit about the academic year, the setup mainly. Then I'm going to go a bit more into detail about the tutor and the study advisor. And I'm going to discuss a little bit the binding study advice. So the academic year is divided into 2 semesters containing 3 blocks each, so that's 6 blocks in total. Semester 1 lasts from September through January, and the second semester lasts from February through June. Now, each semester is divided into 3 blocks, the first 2 blocks lasting 8 weeks and the last block lasting 4 weeks. Well, for instance, the first semester you have block 1 that lasts from September till the end of October. Block 2 lasts from November till the end of December, and block 3 lasts through January. And the same format applies to semester 2 as well. So you get a kind of an 8-8-4 schedule. That's what we call it. Courses always start at the beginning of a new block, never halfway, and sometimes it can last multiple blocks. Now, the last week of each block consists of an assessment week in which you have exams or deadlines for end-term papers. And now, for a detailed view of the academic year format, you can check the academic calendar. You can find it on the student website at the A to Z page. It's the first lemma that comes up in the list. I advise you to download it and to keep it in mind. We often have students, for instance, that come to us asking when they can plan their holidays. On the academic calendar, you can see exactly which weeks are available for that. So moving on to study advice, the main course, so to speak. I'm first going to talk a little bit about the tutor. Every first-year student gets assigned to a tutor. A tutor is generally a lecturer from inside of the program and can help you with program-specific questions regarding your studies, study progress, and possible choices within your program. You can, for instance, discuss course content or possible electives that would fit within your program or within your personal field of interest. Maybe some study-related skills that may need some extra care. You can talk about all those things with your tutor. Now, although the tutor and the study advisor provide you with study-related advice, there are a couple of differences between the tutor and the study advisor. Where a tutor is, as I said, someone from within the program, the study advisor is generally someone from outside of the program. Now, the primary difference between the tutor and the study advisor is that in general, you discuss program-related matters with your tutor and the more personal related matters which may impact your studies with the study advisor. I'm assuming every one of you is aiming for great, smooth, and successful studying experiences. And that's, yeah, I totally get that. But sometimes life can throw unexpected curveballs at you. Things can happen, for instance, in your personal life that you have absolutely no control over and that may have an impact on your studies. Well, during times like these, a study advisor can help. Well, there's a team of 8 study advisors within the faculty, and they are all active in different departments and their affiliate programs. You'll probably get introduced to your specific study advisor somewhere during your program introduction. Well, you can come to us in case of a study delay or in case you are experiencing difficulty planning your studies. Maybe you're uncertain whether the program you've chosen is the right one for you. This can happen. I wasn't right the first time myself. Or maybe you are experiencing health issues, personal problems. Um, in case of an illness or disability or other physical or psychological circumstances, you can also come to us for help. Together, we can look for a workable solution to your problem. For instance, by adjusting your study plan or making special arrangements if in case necessary. There are also a couple of services available within the university where we could direct you or help you get access to. We, for instance, have student psychologists, we have student counselors, and we also even have a university practitioner. You can, of course, also come to us in case you are looking for an extra challenge. We can help you find something that suits your specific needs. For instance, if you'd like to do an internship or go on an exchange, or in case you'd like to do a minor, that's all things we can talk about. I do have something I'd like to add to this, though. We receive a lot of questions every year from first-year students asking, for instance, yeah, hello, I'd like to do an internship and I'd like to do a minor. And yes, I also like to study abroad and I'd like to complete this by the end of the first year, maybe a bit into the second year. Is that possible? Okay, maybe I'm overstating this a little bit, but I know some of you might be eager to experience all of these things, and for good reason, because it adds up to your overall study experience. Now, the good news is there will be plenty of opportunity to do all of these things, but you shouldn't focus on it during your first year. You will be receiving more information about electives, studying abroad, or internships around the end of the second semester. And that's because these activities mainly take place during the second and even more so the third year of your program. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because during the first year, your focus should be entirely on obtaining a positive binding study advice. Now, what is this binding study advice? Well, according to the binding study advice rules and regulations, you need to obtain at least 48 out of a possible 60, 24 in case you're a part-time student. You need to obtain 48 credits during your first year. Otherwise, you are not allowed to continue your studies at our university. You'll be further informed about the binding study advice and your personal BSA status at various points during the year. So this definitely won't be the first time and the only time you'll be hearing about the BSA. For now, don't remember details that is not important. Just know that the binding study advice exists and that it applies to all of you. In case you need to contact us, there are a couple of ways to do so. You can email us. As a rule of thumb, we try to answer your emails within 38 hours. Sometimes it can get very busy and it could take a bit longer than that, so please understand. You could also schedule an appointment through our online appointment system. Appointments take place by video or by phone, and that, of course, has to do with the COVID-19 situation. We also have walk-in hours in case you have short questions, although they are currently unavailable, and that is of course due to the situation regarding COVID. Well, as this current situation is unpredictable, it is as of yet unknown when we will be available on site again. And until that time, the availability of the study advisor may differ a bit per program. I've shared 2 links with you in the chat, and while I'm saying this, I now realize that I haven't done so. I'll do so at the end of the presentation. I added them as QR codes into the presentation as well, so you can click on them immediately. They access 2 websites, which are very important, and I really advise you to bookmark these. The first one is of the study advisors page on the student website. There you can find the contact information of your specific study advisor, as well as the online appointment system where you can schedule appointments with us. And the second link is to the Studying Successfully page on the student website. This website is aimed at students who want to improve or enhance their study skills, and it offers all kinds of handy tip sheets. I really urge you to look at those. Additionally, it also gives you a great overview of all the various training courses and workshops that are offered by our student counselors on a yearly basis. And you can sign up for them online as well. I'm about to wrap up, but just a couple of final points. As I said before, I don't expect you to remember everything I told you today, but hopefully you now know that there is a study advisor you can go to. And I just want you to know that we are here for you during your entire program. In case you are in need of help, please contact us sooner rather than later, because the sooner you contact us, the better we will be able to help you. You are in the driver's seat, and what I mean by this is that it starts and ends with you. It is expected from you within your study program, but also here with us. There are a lot of services available, but you need to actively pursue them. And although we are here to help, we always expect an active attitude from you in return. The final message I want to leave you with is to enjoy your time here at the University of Amsterdam. I know your first year isn't starting out as expected with an online semester, and some of you attending classes from back home. Well, we sincerely hope that regular on-site education will be possible again in the second semester onward, so that you'll be able to fully experience what it's like to study in Amsterdam. Well, good luck to you all, and hopefully we'll get to meet you soon in person. Thank you. Femke, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Karon, especially for the last words of wisdom and positive notes. I think it's very important what you say is that we are here for you, but students do need to be active themselves in seeking help, seeking advice, and helping each other out, as I can see happening in the Q&A already, is that you're helping each other out, and that's a great thing to see, that you already do that. I would like to switch to an expert on all of this, actually, one of our students. Lara, can you share your insights with us?
Sure. Thanks, Femke. And welcome, everyone. I am Laura. I am 22 and I am originally from Romania. I was, and I'm quite proud to say this, I was a first generation media and information student. So I know what it's like to go through the whole process and graduate, and I would still do it again. I would choose exactly the same program because I loved it and it made me who I am today. It made me a better media user and media thinker. And in general, obviously, because not all of your media students, in general, I think the humanities faculty offered me 2 amazing gifts. And one of them is the gift of critical thinking. And you're going to hear this over and over again, but it's absolutely crucial, especially once you get into the professional side, the professional part of your life. This will be a highly valued skill. And then the second gift is the gift of research. I did not know much about research when I came to UFA. It was something I learned along the way. And I realize now as I'm embarking on my professional journey, how important it is to question the status quo, to challenge assumptions, to dig in, to find sources, to understand the whole picture rather than just a set of opinions. So I think these two things, and obviously much more than I can fit into 2 minutes, these have been an amazing set of gifts from the Faculty of Humanities at UFA. And I'm very, very happy for you, and I hope you will be able yourself to extract some of these good gems from your time here. Now, I would really love for us to have a super interactive Q&A session, so you can definitely drop in your questions in the Q&A box. We can talk about the books, we could talk about student life, we can talk about the frequency of assessments, anything that could be relevant to you, or perhaps something that you did not see on our website. I already saw a question about books, the European studies. So as we speak, Canvas, which is UFA's tool for communicating about classes. So Canvas is being set up again for the courses. So you should see there the courses that you have enrolled to, and your teachers should be able to communicate a precise list of the readings. Some of these readings may be PDFs, which you can download immediately. Some you may need access through our UFA library. Some could be textbooks, which you can order either secondhand from UC Books, which is an app, or from bol.com, which is a Dutch website. Or if you're not in the Netherlands, a lot of the new textbooks and publishers, of course, know this. So there are also ebook versions. So don't need to worry about the books. You will get all the information as we speak. Okay, I see another question. The tutor group introduction and the program introduction are at the same time. Oh, as your flight. Okay, I'm not sure if you can participate in those, but they could be recorded. So I would say keep an eye on communication coming from your specific program. Okay, another question is about the list of academic material needed for media and information. Again, you should find all of these in Canvas. You should already be registered for the first courses in the first block. So only the first 2 classes. And there you should see, if not today, at least in the next few days, you should see a list of the readings. The next question, was it hard to adapt to the Dutch grading system? I think this is a very good one. And especially because the student body is so international, we all have different experiences, right? So the grading system in the Netherlands goes from 1 to 10. 10, I would say, is very hard to achieve. Unless it's a multiple choice exam that you completely nail, it's pretty hard to get. So I would say here 8.5 is an absolutely amazing grade. And it shows that you did a wonderful, excellent job. And you should also be satisfied, you know, with 7s. It's not that big of a deal. Like for instance, 7 back in Romania, it was not that good of a grade. But here, if I got 7 at a course I studied a lot, I would be quite pleased with myself. So don't be too harsh on yourself. Allow some time for this cultural change to happen. And you're going to learn what is the grade you should aim for, what to expect, and also you're going to learn when you submit a paper, you're gonna know, yes, this is a 7.5 paper. It's gonna be it's gonna give you a lot of satisfaction when you're going to be right. There's some questions about the timetables that I see and the schedules. So you can check all of that on Rooster. You can also see all that information on our website. So it takes you to Rooster and then you log in with your UFA ID and password. If things are not there yet, don't panic. There's still a few days, but you should be able to see there over the course of a week exactly when should be both your lectures and your tutorials, even though they're online, obviously. Okay, let me go quickly through them. So in work groups where there is no online sign, if we can attend them in real life, this is something that needs to be communicated by the program. So the program that you're following needs to be explicit what is in campus, what it's not, because obviously we need to monitor the traffic that is happening at the campus. So don't start with the assumption. If it's not communicated by your teacher until next week when classes start, do ask and check that it's indeed in campus. And if it's not, check that there is an online alternative for it, which there should be. How do you know the location for our classes so we can pick houses accordingly? Okay, this is another good one. So if you are in Amsterdam and you do have in-person classes, then you would most likely be in the Oude Maanhauspoort. We also call it the University Quarter. So it's basically this, this little neighborhood in the center of Amsterdam where there are multiple UvA buildings. So you have the Oude Maanhauspoort, which is actually in the background photo that you see here for us. Then there's Buschhaus, there is the Single Library, and then just off the Dam Square, there's the PC Hoofdhuis. So this is where you would be studying if you would come to an in-person class.
Laura, it might be a good idea to talk a little bit about housing and accommodation in Amsterdam.
Yes.
Because the question is, so I can pick housing accordingly, but is it like that in Amsterdam? What is it like finding a room?
Yeah, this is obviously tricky. It has been tricky for a few years now. Obviously, it's ideal for you to be at a walking distance from campus, but that's not necessarily the reality. The reality most of the time is that you have to cycle maybe 20, 25 minutes from your place to the campus. But since cycling is almost a daily habit here, that's not a problem and you get your daily exercise in. So you don't necessarily have to be in the city center, and at the same time living in the city center may be much more expensive than a student budget and perhaps too noisy. But I do have to say that if you have to look for a place, do start looking in advance and check groups and check different websites if you haven't already signed for a student accommodation. So yeah, get familiar with the Amsterdam map, get familiar with different neighborhoods, and obviously be open to cycling. And if that's not for you, be open to learning a bit more about the public transportation and wear a mask while riding one of the buses or metros. Okay, I see another question here about a mini job. That's such a nice way of putting it. And studies. So if you're starting your bachelor right now and it is a full-time bachelor, the name sort of speaks for itself. It is a full-time, so it is estimated that bachelors at UvA should roughly take an investment of 40 hours per week. So this includes the contact hours, online or not, and your independent study time or work group time or so on. So everything should be included in these 40 hours. This does not necessarily mean that you cannot have a mini side job on the side if you think you can manage your time accordingly and if it does not interfere with your studies. But I will say, as a general rule of thumb, give yourself a few months just of studying. So you get into the rhythm, you understand the 884 structure, you understand how often you have examinations, and you get into this flow, and then see if you can add something else on top. Try not to overwhelm yourself from the very beginning, while obviously still being aware of the financial costs of coming here. Okay, more questions about the timetable, but they should be uploaded and updated this week. So hopefully by the end of the week, it should all be clear. There should be no issues. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. This should happen. Okay, let me see what else. So enrollment is delayed, but you could still receive a timetable. Yes, I see that you try to answer one another. If you are properly enrolled and you have been signed up by the university for your first semester classes, then yes, you should be able to see again throughout this whole week the updated canvas and roster. But please make sure that you do complete your enrollment and that the admissions team know about your delay. Okay, how long is the winter break? This is another fun bit that I didn't know when I moved here, is that you could have exams all the way up to 23rd of December. So I would often go to the exam center and I would hear carols, you know, sing Mariah Carey singing, a whole Christmas tree put up there, and I would have to go to my exam. So that is a reality, which often means that you get to study almost up until Christmas, but at Christmas you're free. You don't have homework over the Christmas break or winter break if you're not celebrating Christmas. The winter break is usually around 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks in which you don't have any homework, you don't have any readings, you can properly take the time off and then get back to studying early January. But I would suggest you get very familiar with the academic calendar and don't plan haphazardly trips around because that might really, really hurt your academic progress. If classes start on the 1st or on the 7th. Okay, so classes in the Netherlands usually start on the first Monday of September. This year we're cheating a little bit and we're starting them on Monday, 31st of August. So if you don't have a class on the 31st of August, that's not an issue. If it's on the 1st, well done. You can enjoy the last day of August without classes, but indeed classes start next week, not on the 7th. Okay, let me go through more of them. If the classes lectures are pre-recorded for students in different time zones, or we need to attend classes in the local time, I think this is again something that can be communicated by the program. Most of the time, I think it should be on the Amsterdam time, but because of the special Corona situation, of course, teachers understand that not everybody is listening in from Europe. So recording should be obviously available. This is how it should be, and I hope it will be. Moving on to other questions. Okay, if 48 credits are not met at the end of year 1, is there the possibility to repeat exams or make up credits before the beginning of year 2? Okay, so what is happening if you stumble across this, and it should ideally not happen, also because the first year is designed for you to have those credits, there is a summer resit session. So in case you fail your classes the first time, there is a summer resit and then you can do so. If you fail the resits as well, which is very unfortunate, then you do need to get in contact with the study advisors because the BSA, as far as I know, is absolutely mandatory for you to continue your studies successfully. What is the frequency of assessment? This is another good question. So as Carol explained a little bit the 884 structure, you have a course. So next week, you're going to start 2 8-week courses. This means that you will study for 3 weeks in which you will get a lot of information. So open your mind, open your brain, prepare them. You're going to get a lot of information. And then after 3 weeks, in most classes, you should have an assessment. It's either a midterm, it's a group project, it's an individual project, it's an essay. There are a lot of forms of assessments, but after 3 weeks, you should get an assessment. And then there are 3 more weeks of teaching, final assessment, and that is the final of 8 weeks, and you're done. And then the whole carousel starts again, which is fun. And I do think that for some students, this could be pretty intense. But for instance, for me, it really disciplined me. And it allowed me to progressively layer knowledge rather than absorb everything in 4 months and then have all my exams in January or something like that. I would have thought that was way too stressful. So it could be a very, very constructive way to get yourself structured and absorb as much information in a structured manner. I think I have time for a few more questions, right, Femke? Okay, what is the month of January dedicated to? So the month of January, because the month of January and the month of June, according to the 884, they're the 4-week classes. So that's when usually you have only one class, which can be a bit shorter, and it can have less credits if it's like that. So only 6 as opposed to 12, which you can have in the bigger chunk of the semester. And it is indeed a bit of a much shorter course, a bit more intense. In some programs, you can be more flexible with the January or June classes and take them in advance. But again, that is something that you need to talk with the program and with the study advisors, if that is possible, and if that is possible during the Corona times. Okay, I'm trying to go through as many as I can. How I feel about the workload, was I able to breathe? And so many opinions. Okay, this is a good one. So obviously I was able to breathe. I'm still here with you. I graduated media and information. Then I decided I want to do a pre-master also at UvA. And now I'm doing a master and I'm still at UvA. So as you can see, I'm still here. I'm still enjoying my time as a student. I did find the workload fitting for my type of studying. And at the same time, in my second year, I was able to have an internship on top of my studies. This was not easy. I don't want you to think it was a piece of cake. I did have to give up my weekends in order to get that sort of professional experience, but I managed. And then in my third year, I was freelancing a bit on the side. I was doing a bit more projects that were allowing me to be more flexible. So for me, I did manage the workload, but it's because I learned how to be very structured, because I really thought my weekends should be mine, should be my, my holy time just for myself. There is obviously a lot of talk about the workload, but it's very, very subjective. It's about you, it's about how structured you are, it's about how much you enjoy the studies, it's about how fast you absorb information, and how you go through the whole process. So it's very subjective. Don't let anyone say to you something different. Okay, if you were late for registering for your first courses, can you still do so? So if you are a first-year student, for the first semester, you should have been registered automatically by the university, precisely to avoid confusion and precisely to help you. You should only register for courses starting for the second semester, which again, it will be all communicated to you via email. So please check that you are, that you have been indeed registered by the UvA, and you can easily check that in the planner and also in your roster to see if, just by adding the classes and checking that everything is okay. Perhaps time for 2 more questions, or one? Yeah, one before we wrap up. Okay, good. I'm trying to see if I can go through more. Is the university going to offer housing for the second semester? I'm not sure about this. I think this is not yet known. Maybe correct me, Femke, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that is correct. Of course, we have houses for the complete first year. We have houses for per semester as well. But how many rooms or beds, I should say, are available is still, yeah, it depends a lot. But it will be published. There is a UVA housing website, so you keep an eye on that one. And yeah, you get your information from that website.
Great. Okay, I see 2 short questions here. If there's a break between the 8-week blocks, no, sadly there isn't. Ideally, it's just a weekend, which you need to make the most out of and enjoy it and treat it like a very long break. But there isn't, which goes to show again that you need to adapt pretty quickly to the fast-paced environment. And then I saw another quick one. If the second semester could be online as well, this is still too early to tell. We definitely don't know, and the situation is unpredictable, as we have learned over the course of the past months. Do keep an eye, because the UvA has a special coronavirus page, and there all the updates coming from Europe and coming from the local institutions here are posted, also with what is UvA doing in response to them. So it's still too early to tell that. Okay, Femke, I know we discussed a bit earlier that even after 12, we can stay a little bit more to answer questions.
Yeah,
so
we did discuss it. Let's do that.
Wrap up.
Yeah.
And then we can answer a few more questions after 12. But thank you so much, everybody, for attending. I think this was maybe your first live contact at the university. So I do hope that you enjoyed. I do hope that you learned something, or you took some notes, so you know what else to check, and maybe you have gotten some worries out of your mind. I do hope that. And I hope you will have an amazing year at UvA, and you will make the most out of, even in these crazy circumstances, but the most out of your program.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. And it's great that you are willing to stay a little bit after 12 as well. So what we'll do is I'll work back with you guys. And those of you who still would like to talk some little more with Laura and ask your questions can hang on to the webinar after 12 for another 10 to 15 minutes, I think. Just to close up, I'm going to share my screen again with you. Yeah. So there are many introductions, and I just want to give you a little overview of those. So they are on screen now. So this is you could say, faculty, the first introduction of all international students. We give you kind of a little insight of studying with us, but there will be more places where you can get information. So the intro week is more the social side. So that's a social, that's student organized. It's a good way to get to know other students from your study program, and they organize a social completely online. So it's going to be very exciting. It's this week. It's going to be very exciting to see what they do. It does need registration. So if you haven't registered yet, I think it's fully booked. But first, for those of you who registered, enjoy. And then each program has this program introduction. And that's for Dutch students and international students, and per program. So they will go much more in depth into details like your tutor groups, your a timetable, if you can change timetables. Some of the questions that were asked here, those are really for the program introduction, and that will be next week. So the first week of the semester are these program introductions, and they will be online, and some of them will have a on-site part as well for those of you who already are in Amsterdam. Now, if you haven't received an invitation because somebody said I haven't received it, please contact the UvA through this online question form and ask about that, because it is something, the invitations already have been sent out for that. All right. Now the next. Right, we talked a lot about questions. So the UvA is this really big university, and well, it's easy to have questions and not know where to go with them. So that's why I had this little map. You can see the center of Amsterdam. This is basically the city campus of University Quarter, as it is called. We have an education desk, so that's a faculty education desk. They deal with timetables, getting your results registers, getting your degree at the end. So that's an important desk to keep in mind. And then the student service desk, that's the desk for the whole university. And they deal with things like the student cards. But either one of those desks, and I really want you to know that, I mean, if you go there in person or online and you send a question, they will be able to direct you to the correct person. So you don't really need to worry about that yourself. You just ask the question and they will, behind the screens, make sure that the right person answers that. And then last, the Q&A on Thursday sessions that we are starting next Thursday, which is just a Q&A, no information basically. It's just a place for you to ask questions to us and maybe meet some fellow students who also have questions. Right, the next slide. These are some bookmark pages that I would like you to actually put in your favorites list. Make a UVA favorites list, and I will show you some of these pages really quickly. For example, the academic calendar is here. Let me share that with you. You can see, oh, it doesn't share right. Let me see. Well, you know, it doesn't really share like I hoped it would. So what we'll do is I'll make those bookmarks. I'll put them on the invitation page of this introduction, so yeah, you can mark them yourself. And I think I have one last slide to share with you. Quite, this is a summary, and quite what I'd like to call something that you would need as a student at the UVA. Be ASO. It doesn't sound so nice, but it's actually that you have to be able to ask your things, act, show initiative, and have your own opinion. And you will quickly find out that quite nicely summarizes the UVA students. So keep this in mind. You need to be a little bit ASO at the UVA. Now, to wrap it all up, because we are a little bit over time, as I can see, I want to finish with one last Dutch word that I would like to teach you, which is doei. Doei basically means goodbye in an informal way. So doei from me to you. I hope it was useful. I hope that we will see each other online, offline. I think you're a very brave group of students. You're going to be a new generation who went through this, and I'm sure you're going to rock it. Take care. For those of you who want to stay on to talk a little bit with Laura, I would like to thank my other panelists. Thank you a lot, and bye for now.